Hello everybody, Raven Knight here, coming at you with another update video to start off the week. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've been getting a lot of subscriptions lately, which is awesome. Don't forget to comment and like the video. And I hope you enjoy what you hear, because I got a few things I want to say, two big things really, but I'll give you a little bit of an update on everything as best I can, so stick around and thank you for showing up. So first of all, as far as For Honor goes, because I always try to start off with For Honor information, I hope you guys really liked the Orochi Heroes in History. Worked real hard on it. It was a bit of a booger, but it's done now. Hope you enjoyed. That just leaves only a few more Heroes in History videos to go. We've got Raider, we've got Warlord, we've got Zhongjun, and I'm pretty sure that's it. I think those are the last three that I have to do. And I'm looking forward to getting those done. Looking forward to wrapping up Heroes in History, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous about it. You know, this has been such a big series, and it's probably my most popular series, so once it's done, I wonder how much audience retention I'll be able to keep. It's something that I've been kind of wondering about, but regardless of that, planning the next Legends video. Want to do Revna, my Berserker, soon. Get her out of the way so that we can move on to another Legends video. And you know what, I may just bite the bullet and just do Bao Shin next, because the Shaolin is the one that I've really wanted to do for a while, and no one seems to want to pick them, so I may just go ahead and get that out of the way. But we'll see, who knows. Also, planning a brief lore video sometime in the future talking about Lord Ramiel. I may do a comparison between Ramiel and Apollyon, because those are two very big characters, and kind of want to talk about them when you compare their legends, their feats. I also want to talk briefly about the nature of legends in For Honor, because one thing that people are talking about is they're saying, is For Honor really fantasy, or is all this just legends? And an argument could be made that all of the event game modes where we've seen like the Jormungandr World Serpent, the Spirits of the Hitakiri, all these things, they're not real, they're just legends that people have told. And that's what people are saying about Lord Ramiel and the Wyverns. They're not real, they're just a tall tale or a fantasy or some kind of legend that people have been telling in Heathmore for a while. And that's very possible. So I'll be doing a brief talk on that sometime in the future. I need to write all that down, get all my thoughts together. But that's everything I have going on for Honor right now. I've got the For Honor and Glory story. It's still on a temporary hiatus, only because of, you know, just I got to figure out a few plot holes that I accidentally created. And that's one of the things that happens in story writing, you know, guys. It's like you can write out an idea that you really want to see, but sometimes what your heart wants gets in the way of what realistically should happen. And so when I was writing it out, I got to the point I wanted to get to, and I'm like, yes, I wrote it, but then all of a sudden I realized, oh, I didn't set this up properly. So I can't go back and redo old chapters. They're already out now. So I've got to find a way to work my way through those plot holes and fix them as I go. You know, it's going to be a little tricky, but I can figure it out for sure. That's not a problem. Speaking of writing, I'm going to be doing a few more writing videos sometime in the future. Going to be talking about consistency and the value of consistency in story writing. I don't think people recognize how important that is. How you keep a character consistent, how you keep your rules consistent. You know, people often say, you know, what's wrong with breaking with consistency as long as the characters' themes remain the same? And I want to talk about the difference there. I think people don't understand theme and consistency. They can work together, but consistency matters a lot more. For example, like one of the things that I always heard was, hey, you know what, this character may not have been consistent, but it was keeping with the theme. Like, I remember Matt CMG saying that once when talking about Korra, that Korra might have learned the elements of bending very early on, but it kept with the theme of her character and with the whole dynamic that she was trying to go for, like the whole message she was supposed to learn, like the lesson, like her character. And my response was, yeah, but that's not consistent. See, that's the thing. When you have to sacrifice consistency to create a theme, that's poor priorities, in my opinion, because a theme can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For example, you could fabricate anything you wanted around any form of media you wanted and find perfectly fine ways to validate it, for sure. But what matters most is consistency. Did the character go from point A to point B in a logically precise manner that made sense? Was the world that you created consistent to the lore and rules that it created? And why does it matter that it does? I want to talk about that in the Raven's Writing Room, for sure. I'm going to do another Troy and Frost chapter very soon. I actually wrote a new chapter for that lately. People ask me, do you write these immediately and then record them. No, a lot of these are pre-written, and I record them after I've edited them and fine-tuned them a little bit, so stuff like that. So hope y'all have been enjoying that. All right, so now that we've gotten all that out of the way, and I know that y'all probably could tell from the sound of my voice, things haven't been very great here. I'll try to keep a long story short, but for those who don't know me, a couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. There's a lot of reasons why that came up with, part of which being an event in my past that I'd rather not go into right now, and the stresses of being a teacher for 2 years with very little help from the school administration and with just a huge amount of disrespect from the students. And it left me somewhat emotionally and mentally scarred as a result. Every now and then, it's worse than it is better. But lately, with the way things have been going at work and with a lot of questions in my life regarding where I'm going, that depression has kind of gotten a little stronger. I've been having some very concerning thoughts lately. Again, I won't go into the specifics, but it's got me thinking, you know what, I may need to slow down a little bit, take things a little bit slower, one step at a time. And so for that reason, everything on the channel, like stories, For Honor content, stuff like that, it's going to come out a little slower. I'm going to be taking probably a day or two to really collect myself, talk to some people, rest up, sleep on it, that kind of thing. Focus on what I need to get done, and then I'll come back to it. I'm not done by any means, and you can expect at least 1 or 2 things next week. Very small things, not major big projects, so I don't expect to make a lot of people very happy with me this coming week, but I'm going to give y'all some stuff, and I will try to stream this week, so I'm not quitting. I just need to slow down. I need to take some time to put my heart and mind back on track. Just keep me in your prayers as I go through that. It's kind of a rough one. One of the hard things about being someone people look up to and trust is sometimes you feel that weight on your shoulders a lot, and when that happens, it can be a bit of a burden. And I just need a little bit of time. That's all there is to it. No worries, guys. It'll all be okay. It turns out okay all the time. Trust me. I'll manage. But now let's talk about what y'all are probably noticing. You're probably looking at this recording, like what's playing in the background, and saying, "Hey, Raven, that's not For Honor. That's not Dead by Daylight. That's Elden Ring. And I thought you said you weren't going to play Elden Ring." Well, guys, one of the things that's important about integrity, having integrity means that you stick to your guns when you know what you're doing and saying is right, but it also means being wise enough to admit that when you were wrong. In the past, I said that I didn't want to try Elden Ring because of the hype. But after constant begging and pleading, I finally said, all right, I'm going to try it. So I tried Elden Ring, and I didn't like it because I didn't see any tutorial. I felt like I was just wandering around aimlessly with no real direction, and I was running into these constant baddies that were kicking my butt, and I had no idea how to use the game, so I was like, this is abysmal. I hate it. But I told people, if you are a Dark Souls player and you're used to this kind of gameplay, you will love it. As for me, I will not. But lots of people are coming to me saying, no, dude, there was a tutorial. There's a method to this madness. Just try it one more time. One more time. And even my own brother was like, dude, give it one more chance. And I went, okay, one more chance. So I did what everyone told me, and I went through, and I found the tutorial. I actually found it. And after playing through the tutorial, learning the controls, and re-entering the world, and giving it another chance, I will admit that I was wrong. I was wrong in saying that I would not enjoy it, because I do. Elden Ring is a pretty fun game. I am very much enjoying it. It is very entertaining. There's a lot of things I really like about it. Some things I don't, but a lot of things I really like about it. Now, on a personal note, I enjoy Nioh 2 a bit more, but that's probably because I have more time with that game, and the cultural aspect is there, the history aspect is there, and those are all things I love. But there are things I think Elden Ring does very well. In fact, some things I like about Elden Ring more than Nioh 2. Like, for example, I like the weight behind some of the weapons. When I swing a weapon in Nioh 2, it feels, no matter what kind of weapon, it feels kind of light, almost like I don't believe they're actually carrying a real weapon. With Elden Ring, though, when you swing a sword, you feel the heft to it. You can tell that there's weight to that sword. And then when you switch to another sword, you feel the heft of that sword. Weight of the armor and weapon very much come into play, which I love that. I love that that's a reality. I love the open world feel to it. At first, I was very mad that there was no compass or something to help point you to where you needed to go. But then it kind of hit me. That's kind of the point, isn't it? You're supposed to wander around and kind of discover your own destiny. Pick what you want to do. Yes, the grace sites point you in a direction you should go to progress, but that doesn't in any way mean you have to go that way. So I've been wandering around having a good time. I went up against that first boss, that guy who swings around with a huge freaking walking stick and wants to take you out. I still haven't beaten him yet, but that's because I kind of just followed the path of the grace and got to him before I was ready. And so now I'm wandering around, beating up other things, getting some experience, learning the game. I went back to try him again, and I actually did a lot better. I still haven't beaten him, but I did a lot better. So I'm like, okay, I'm on the right path. So it's kind of been one of these things where I've been learning about the game and going through it and really starting to enjoy it. It's not something I think would beat For Honor, because I think For Honor and Elden Ring provide two very different things. And again, from a personal level, I like Nioh 2 a bit more just because I've had more time with that game. But when I said that Elden Ring was a game only Dark Souls people would enjoy and that I will never enjoy it, and I hope you guys do, I was 100% wrong. This is a very entertaining game. I'm glad people talked me into trying it again. I am enjoying it. It is a very entertaining game. I think there's a lot to it that I really, really like. I look forward to seeing where it goes. I look forward to beating that first boss, okay? It's actually been very engaging. I am liking this game. It is very cool. It doesn't mean I'm good at it. I'm still pretty bad at it. It's figuring out this play style that's bothering me, but whatever the case. I am enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. Now, I think the next question is, will you make content about it? Again, guys, you need to understand, game mechanics and stuff like that are not my forte. They're not my specialty. That's more stuff along Marco Yolo or Slanderous or one of their, or Havoc or Freeze's stuff. They do that better. For me, it's more of, I understand history and armaments and weaponry. I could talk about the way the character uses the armor and weapons. I could talk about the halberd, for example, and talk about how that is not how you'd want to use a halberd. With one shield in your hand and just thrusting like it's a spear. I wouldn't use a halberd that way. I'd use a halberd two-handed. And I know you can switch to two-handed, but I'm just saying, so even if that's an option to carry a heater shield and a halberd in one hand, I don't think that's a good idea. I could talk about how the realism of hiding behind a shield like that and slashing the way you do. We can talk about that kind of stuff. That stuff I can talk about, but don't say, okay, what do I think that this armor set is better than this armor set from a mechanic standpoint? No, I'm going to talk about whether or not I think that armor is realistic and whether it's practical from a historical standpoint. So that's stuff that I could realistically do. But regardless of that, that's all I have to say about Elden Ring. I was wrong. It's a entertaining game. I'm glad that I'm trying it again. And who knows, maybe in the future I'll talk about some more stuff in it that I see that I find interesting. But with that all out of the way, I don't really have a rant prepared, and I don't have a story sharing time right now. Like I said, still kind of emotionally and mentally drained at the moment. But don't you worry, guys. It'll pass. It always does. These moments just come every so often, and when they do, you just got to push your way through it. You know, just heal. Push your way through, and that's exactly what I'll do. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for joining me on this brief little update. Look forward to the next Prince of Egypt analysis video coming out very soon. I've actually finished rereading through the scripture that I need to make that video. I meant to mention this earlier. So that will be coming out probably not this week, but maybe next week. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.